Hello, this is Slate with Combo of Rocks, bringing you another video deck tech of a deck that we built and sold by request. If you're not familiar with us, we make and sell custom budget EDH decks. These decks are light on the budget, so they may not be optimal or competitive, but they're definitely fun and centered around a central theme that you can build on. Today we have Avacyn, Angel of Hope, which was requested alongside Worldslayer, which we'll get to later on. This is an Avacyn I provided. They have their own Avacyn, so this wasn't included in the cost of the deck, nor are they receiving the Avacyn. So this is 5 and 3 white for an 8/8 legendary angel with flying and vigilance. It and other permanents you control have indestructible, which again combos really well with Worldslayer, but let's get into the deck. We have Archon of Coronation, 4 white for a 5/5 flying Archon. It enters, you become the Monarch. As long as you're the Monarch, damage doesn't cause you to lose life. When a creature deals combat damage to you, its controller becomes the Monarch. Obviously that prevents that, so they'd have to become the Monarch in some other way. On your end step, you do draw a card, so it does give us some card draw in white, but also a good way to stabilize the board. Realm Cloaked Giant, 5 white for a 7/7 with Vigilance. Does have a sorcery adventure of 3 white, destroy all non-giant creatures. We got lots of ways to destroy lots of creatures. Again, we want to survive to be able to cast our Avacyn. Austere Command, 4 white, choose 2. Destroy all artifacts, destroy all enchantments, destroy all creatures with mana value 3 or less, or destroy all creatures with mana value 4 or greater. With Avacyn in play, we're not losing any permanents, but our opponents will. Planar Cleansing, 3 and 3 whites, destroy all non-land permanents. Devastating Mastery, 2 and 4 whites. You can pay 2 white rather than the spell's mana cost. If the lesser cost was paid, an opponent chooses 2 non-land permanents they control and returns them to their owner's hands, then destroy all non-land permanents. Doomscar, 5 white, destroy all creatures. You can foretell it by paying 2 colorless and then casting it for the foretell cost on a later turn for 1 white. Magus of the Disc, 2 white for 2/4 human wizard. It enters, taps, and you can pay 1 and tap it, destroy all artifacts, creatures, and enchantments. Martial Coup, X and 2 white, create X 1/1 white soldier creature tokens if X is 5 or more, destroy all other creatures. Achroma's Vengeance, 4 white, destroy all artifacts, creatures, and enchantments with cycling for 3. Curse of Silence, 1 white enchantment or a curse. Enchants a player. As it enchants enters, choose a card name. Spells with the chosen name the player casts cost 2 more to cast. Whenever the player casts the spell with the chosen name, you can sacrifice this. If you do, draw a card. This does slow your opponent down. You can actually name your opponent's commander to make it cost 2 more. Courageous Resolve, 2 and a white instant. Up to 1 target creature you control gains protection from each of your opponents until end of turn. Draw a card. If you have 5 or less life, you can't lose this turn. You can't lose the game, and your opponents can't win the game this turn. Casual Doran, Royal Guard, 3 white for 2/5 soldier. Tap it. All combat damage that unblocked creatures would deal to you this turn is dealt to this instead. If it's indestructible, your opponents won't be able to harm you. Weathered Bodyguards, 5 and white for 2/5. As long as it's untapped, all combat damage would be dealt to you by unblocked creatures is dealt to this instead. It does have more for 3 and a white. Windborn Muse, 3 and white for 2/3 spirits. Creatures can't attack you unless their controller pays 2 for each creature attacking you, slowing down decks that want to attack you and go wide. Ruined Halo, white enchantment. And when it enters, choose a card name. You have protection from the chosen card name. Again, you can choose your opponent's commander, and that commander can't do anything to you. Stoic Farmer, 3 and white for 3/3 Dwarf Peasant. When it enters, search for basic planes and reveal it. If opponent controls more lands than you, put it on the battlefield tapped. Otherwise, put it in your hand. It does have a foretell cost of 1 and a white. Consul's Judgment, 1 white, starting with you. Each player votes for a non-land permanent you don't control. Exile each permanent with the most votes or tied for the most votes. Just a good way to get rid of something we all agree on. Onto Inversion, 6 white, destroy all non-land permanents. Can also be a tapped white land if you choose. Here's Worldslayer. So equip to Avacyn, this does work. 5 mana, 5 to equip. Whenever a equipped creature deals combat damage to your player, destroy all permanents other than Worldslayer. Obviously, your permanents would be indestructible. This does include lands, so this leaves your opponents with nothing if you've got Avacyn in play, and with you with still everything. Pariah Shield, 5 mana, 3 to equip. All damage that would be dealt to you is a dealt to equip creature instead. Again, if you have an indestructible creature, it pretty much prevents you from taking any sort of damage. Endless Atlas, 2 mana artifacts, 2 tap to draw a card. Activate only if you control 3 or more lands with the same name. There's quite a few planes in the deck, which shouldn't be difficult. Also, just a good way to get card draw in white. Pearl Medallion, 2 mana artifact, white spells you cost 1 less to cast. Again, great way to reduce cost. Gauntlet of Power, 5 mana, choose a color, obviously white. Creatures of the chosen color get +1/+1. Whenever a basic land is tapped for the mana of the chosen color, its controller adds another mana of that color to his or her mana pool. Again, great with planes. Solemn Simulacrum, 4 mana, 2/2. When enters, search for a basic land, put on the battlefield tapped. When it dies, draw a card. Burnished Heart, 3 mana, 2/2 Elk. Pay 3 and sack it. Search for 2 basic land cards, put them onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. Navigation Orb is like a colorless Cultivate. It can grab gates, but there's not any gates, so just a Cultivate in this deck. 1 Power Stone, 3 mana, taps for 2 colorless. Hedron Archive, 4 mana, taps for 2 colorless. Can also be sacked to draw 2 cards. Again, key in white. Stone Speaker Crystal, 4 mana, taps for 2 colorless. 2 taps, sack, exile any number of target players' graveyards, and then draw a card. Marble Diamond, taps for white. Guardian Idol, 2 mana, enters taps for colorless. Pay 2 mana to have it become a 2/2 Golem artifact creature. Mind Stone, 2 mana, taps for colorless. 1 tap, sack, draw a card. Arcane Signet, we'll add a white in this deck. Soul Ring, taps for 2 colorless for 1 mana. Wayfarer's Bubble is our colorless Rampant Growth. Everflowing Chalice, you can kick it for 2 colorless and any number of times to have it add that much colorless. Swiftfoot Boots, 2 mana, 1 to equip. Equip creature is hexproof and haste. Steel Shaper's Gift, 1 white, search for an equipment, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. Great for finding your Worldslayer. Path to Exile, 1 white, exiles a creature, its controller searches for a basic land, then puts it on the battlefield tapped. Swords to Plowshares, 1 white, exiles a creature, its controller gains life equal to its power. Condemn, 1 white instant, put an attacking creature on the bottom of its owner's library, its controller gains life equal to its toughness. Unwanted Remake, 1 white, destroys a creature, instant speed, its controller manifests dread. Lay Down Arms, 1 white sorcery, exile a creature with mana value less than or equal to the number of planes you control, its controller gains 3 life. Requisition Raid, 1 white with Spree, pay 1 for each additional mode, destroy an artifact, destroy an enchantment, or put a 1/1 counter on each creature target player controls. Stroke of Midnight, 2 white, instant, destroys a non-lane permanent, its controller creates a 1/1 white human creature token. Generous Gift, 2 white, instant, destroys any permanent, including a land. Its controller creates a 3/3 green elephant creature token. Grasp of Fate, 1 white, enters for each opponent, exile up to 1 target non-land permanent that player controls until this leaves the battlefield. Make Your Move, 2 white, instant, destroys an artifact, enchantment, or creature with power 4 or greater. Vanish into Eternity, 2 white, you can pay 3 more to have it target a creature, but you exile target non-land permanent. Ghostly Prison, 2 white, enchantment, creatures can attack you unless their controller pays 2 for each creature that's attacking you. Again, just a good way to stop going wide decks from attacking you a whole lot. Archon of Absolution, 3 white, 3/2 flying Archon pro white. Creatures can't attack you or planeswalker you control unless they pay 1 for each of those. Guardian of the Gateless, 4 white for a 3/3 Angel of Flying. Can block any number of creatures, and when it blocks, it gets +1/+1 for each creature that it's blocking. Great with indestructibility, allowing you to, again, shore up as many attackers as you can, blocking it, and then probably taking out a lot of their creatures. True Love's Kiss, 2 white, instant, exile an artifact or enchantment, then draw a card. We have all of the Circle of Protection, so white, 1 and a white, pay 1. The next time a white source of your choice would deal damage to you this turn, prevent that damage. Blue is the same thing for a blue source. Black is the same thing for a black source. Circle of Protection red, same thing for a red source. And then Circle of Protection green for a green source. The Birth of Meletis, 1 and a white for an enchantment saga with 3 chapters. The first one allows you to search for basic planes, put it into your hand, then shuffle. Second chapter, create a 0/4 wall artifact creature token with Defender. Third chapter, you gain 2 life. Sunset's Revelry, 1 and a white sorcery. If an opponent has more life than you, gain 4 life. If they have more creatures than you, creates 2 1/1 white human creature tokens. And if an opponent has more cards in hand than you, draw a card. Scouting Hawk, 2 and white for 1/1 bird with flying. When it enters, if an opponent controls more lands than you, search for basic planes, put it on the battlefield taps. Core Cartographer, 3 and white for a 2/2 Core Scout. When it enters, search your library for planes, put it on the battlefield tap, then shuffle. Razorgrass Ambush, 1 and a white instant, deals 3 damage to an attacking or blocking creature. It can also be a tapped or untapped white land, depending if you want to pay 3 life. Sajiri Shelter, 1 and a white instant, target creature you control gains protection from the color of your choice until end of turn. Can also be a tapped white land. We have some lands here. Monumental Henge, enters tapped unless you control planes. Taps for white, 2 white, tap. Look at the top 5 cards of your library, reveal a historic card from among them, put it into your hand, put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Does help you find artifacts in legendaries and sagas, which we have a good number of. Myriad Landscape, taps for colorless, enters tap, 2 taps, sack, search for 2 basic lands, so basically 2 planes in this deck. Roadside Reliquary, taps for colorless, 2 taps, sack, draw a card if you control an artifact, and another card if you control an enchantment. Sequestered Stash, taps for colorless, 4 tap, sack it, put the top 5 cards of your library into your graveyard, then you can put an artifact card from your graveyard on top of your library. Just a good way to get and find artifacts. Idyllic Grange is a plains, enters tapped unless you control 3 or more planes. When it enters, put a 1/1 counter on target creature if it did enter untapped. Sajiri's Step, enters tapped, target creature gains protection from the color of your choice until end of turn, taps for white. Drifting Meadow can be cycled. And then we have a bunch of planes here. That's the deck. I hope you enjoyed it, but we'll see you next time.